No, I am not rage baiting, and no, I am not being satire. I feel the classic Angry Birds games getting delisted was the best scenario. Now, before I explain, let me set the stage. The year is 2019, and all the Angry Birds games are no longer on the app and Google Play Store. Except Bad Piggies. Bad Piggies is dope different. Now, the reason why they did this is so they can focus on games that they were still updating, but it wasn't just that. Sure, they were still updating, but the games that were still in service had heavy monetization. So much so that I like to call these games Angry Bills games, as they were made to pay bills and they make me angry. The classic games, however, those are real Angry Birds games. Ones that clearly show the main purpose of the project is to be a game. Every game with bird IP that is on the App Store right now, made by Rovio, is an Angry Bills game. Except Bad Piggies. Bad Piggies is different. They all have excessive in-app purchases, pay-to-win models, and so much more. Remember Angry Birds Transformers? That amazing crossover from your childhood? It has a battle pass now. Angry Birds Transformers is now Angry Bills Transformers. Angry Bills games also have less effort put into them, with a lot less creativity. Of the 10 Angry Bills games plus Bad Piggies, 4 of them are match games. There are now more match games on the App Store than slingshot games. You know, the primary form of Angry Birds. In the Golden Age, despite the games playing similar, they were all unique. Seasons had themed level packs. Rio featured the first real story of the franchise. Angry Birds Space speaks for itself. Star Wars is the biggest innovation of the series to date. Your birds get stronger the more you play, and they all have new abilities based off the movies. Angry Birds Go, just look at it. Angry Birds Epic, just look at it. Angry Birds Bella was a good attempt at a spin-off, and they all had their charm. Now, imagine an alternate universe where the only thing that has changed is that the classic games were never delisted. That's it. Everything else stays the same, including Rovio's greed. Fast forward to 2026, in the alternate universe, and what was once a beloved game turned into money. Let's say, in order to play the Rio 2 levels in Angry Birds Rio, you have to pay $2,500 of premium currency for each level pack. But the only way to get the gems without paying is to 3-star the Rio 1 stages. And even then, you'll get about 2 to 4 to level. But now, 3-starring levels are almost impossible due to the inclusion of cosmetic hats that can only be obtained by loot boxes. Now, all the cosmetic and seasons? Revoked. Gone. In exchange for little to no gems. And now the only way to get them is through a battle pass. In Angry Birds Epic, sure, they might add more classes and weapons, but the only way to get them is from the Golden Pig machine. Also, there is now an energy system during the main game, but the only way to play after you run out is to take out a loan. In Angry Birds Star Wars, they added stations based off the Mandalorian series. But in order to play them, you need to sign into Disney+. Kind of already saw an Angry Birds game becoming an Angry Bills game with Angry Birds Go 2.0. Loot boxes were added. Yay! In order to upgrade your cart, you need to get the specific amount of parts for the specific cart you want to upgrade. And it sucks. Now, I'm questioning why 2.0 got taken off the App Store when Bad Piggies didn't, when it follows many other Angry Bills games. Now, imagine every other Angry Birds game getting a 2.0 update that changes everything. Ooh, what about Angry Birds Epic? In a bad way, in a bad way, you know what I mean? That is what would most likely happen if these games were to still be active. I know it's sad, but if Rovio actually cared for Angry Birds instead of using them to make a profit, I'd be ecstatic to bring the games back if they even removed them in the first place. You see, Rovio from 2019 and Rovio from 2026 are very different companies. So to have their work preserved without the user development tainting their enjoyment, I feel is the best scenario. But that's all for me. See you later.